Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I predict that I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm going to predict and be correct that I'm Commander Cockings. And there we go. You're already off to a great start. How'd you feel?
I feel great. I feel great. And the reason I feel great is because in about 48 hours time, on July 20th in Hall H at 11:30 a.m. at San Diego Comic-Con, there is going to be a Picard trailer. So I am excited. I mean, we love Star Trek, and we're looking forward to the Picard show, and we want to see some tidbits. And now that San Diego Comic Con's coming up, and Star Trek Las Vegas, we're going to get something we can sink our teeth into finally. But before said trailer, we're going to do a prediction video as to what we think might be in this trailer.
Yes. See, and it's always fun to see how far off we were or are, or how we might understand where they're coming from. We have a few, obviously, clues. And as Kurtzman said, it will reference and be heavily involved with the Hobus incident, repercussions of that. Are we going to see two trailers? One at San Diego as like a simpler teaser and then a more elaborate trailer at Vegas?
I think absolutely we are going to be getting two trailers. I think the San Diego Comic Con one is going to be more of a teaser trailer. And then, yeah, at Vegas, there's going to be much more of a expanded, more involved trailer, which will be nice.
Yeah, my guess there's going to be a like minute scene at San Diego all the way around, but I think there'll be a scene rather than a trailer, potentially, because then you get to see how it feels in action, because it gives you so much, but getting a tangible sense of who and what Picard is. And if they were smart, they'd do a trailer which is more general audience, so it kind of shows, how expensive it looks, and Picard's in it, and this heavy actor's in it. Ooh, look at this! And then you do the story trailer, which would be the second one. But they're only 2 weeks apart, so it's kind of...
You and I have talked about this a little bit beforehand. We'd like to see a ship or a space station or something. I think what might be cool and what I would like to see, is a ship zip by, follow the ship, kind of heading towards the space station, go past the space station down to Earth, see the vineyards, kind of zoom in on the vineyard, pan up to like a porch, and there's the dog sitting there. You're going to see this hand come down from beside it and pet his head, and then pan up to Picard in like a rocking chair or something, maybe having a sip of wine. All probably with a voiceover talking about the events of the Hobus star explosion. And guys, it doesn't mean it's Kelvin universe. That did happen in the Prime universe. I just want to make a point of that. But so I mean, I think that's how it's going to start, with some kind of narration. Either Picard. I would hope it's Picard narrating this time. I think it'll probably go to, like you said, maybe a small scene, maybe introducing a new character or something talking to Picard, the mission that they have to go out on or whatever. I think something like that would be great.
Well, the thing about Picard is that it's not just him, it's his legacy in the era. Not every character is as beloved, but if you put them in the right place, almost any can be really exciting. So I'm wondering if we're going to see sort of the vibe of the show, because this is the future of Trek, literally and figuratively. So it'd be nice to then, like I said, I like the idea of them maybe beaming down, just be simple. Picard's walking around, people beam in or take a shuttle, whatever, and go talk to him, and then we cut to him, like I say, in an orbit shot, seeing the hero ship sort of in the distance, not quite revealing it, giving a tease. It's like, what ship is that? We're not going there. We see a bridge, we see a sense of the art design, we see uniforms looking snug, we get a sense of the comm badge. Picard could even say, wow, things have really changed. Make a note of it. Starfleet's redressed, refreshed the thing, and they say, oh, this was years ago. Showing where because are we going to have Picard represented as sort of the wise old sage, or the out of time, too old to be useful? Because Scotty was a bit of both, but primarily the not useful older man. Or then you get other people that come in and be really, really useful. So I wonder how they're gonna...
Yeah, I think we're going to see a broken Picard, to be honest. Somebody that's kind of...
But isn't he a few too many years past just broken? Because that was, didn't they say 15 years ago, left Starfleet?
Yeah, he's settled into his new life of not being in Starfleet, being retired, perhaps being an admiral, but retired. and just enjoying the quiet life on the vineyard, whether he's got a wife, whether she died, and whatever. I mean, he's got a dog, so that's all a man really needs. Yeah, I think he's going to be kind of broken at first, and it's going to be kind of a tale that they need him for something, and he's got to get back into the swing of things. He has said, in TNG, that he would never want to leave Starfleet. But obviously the events of that rescue mission that we heard in the other trailer, I think were very detrimental to his life and career, or his mental stability at least, like somebody close to him dying. And it's going to be interesting to find out who that is.
When jumping to that rescue, as we did in our first analysis of that teaser, the timelines don't match up to that being the Hobus Romulus incident. It's about 5 years off. But knowing this team, or at least the legacy of what this team came from, they could just messed up the dates, because it was Patrick that said, 20 years after, he the one that set a certain point. So I'm guessing it is probably Hobus. They just got the dates wrong. One of the press people just got it wrong, so it is that, because I like they did better that it's 2. Hobus was big, but not too big in terms of the grand scheme, because like I said, you take out the Romulus where everyone has a chance to leave, it shouldn't interfere too much, it'll just be sad. It should be a second incident that you can then build up to in your own narrative, and maybe they're connected. That's more interesting if these two events are connected. But just having Starfleet sending dozens of ships across the border to Romulus to help, it's like, really? Is that the story that you want to...
I'm hoping it has something to do with the Hobus explosion, not directly. Like, it's fine if it's 5 years off, because, people have relocated. There might be after effects of that whole situation.
The political landscape shatters, potentially. That's what's interesting, not so the explosion itself, but the repercussion of the explosion.
And the good thing about that is the fact that, Picard, in the episode Unification, had that mind meld with Spock. Spock wanted to get the Romulan people back kind of in sync with the Vulcans. So there could be that kind of thing going on where they're trying to reintegrate the Romulans into the Federation, or integrate the Romulans into the Federation. I think that would work quite well, considering that, he mind melded with both Sarek and Spock, and was part of that unification mission. He knows what Spock wanted from that, which, to be fair, is honestly just good intentions.
I mean, the Romulans are always underused, and you can do a lot of potential stories of the Romulans. If I was to pitch something along those lines, bouncing off what you were saying there, Stuart. So, Hobus events happens. They had, weeks of warning, days of warning. They get the Senate off. But once they're off, then there was a coup, because this underhanded set of people in the Romulan government or whatever, they said, well, now the Praetor isn't in his chambers on Romulus, he's on this ship, decloaks a really cool ship and blows it up, and now is a coup. So it wasn't the incident was just a catalyst for this bigger changing political landscape of Romulans, going to each other's throats. Now this is where Seela is a perfect choice to come back as Denise Crosby, because you wouldn't assume, of all the people, Denise Crosby who left TNG season 1 will be in Picard season 1, but as Seela, she was always good. A lot of texture there, a lot of backstory. Instantly, you imagine both on screen the history of her blaming him for everything upon everything upon everything. And wouldn't that be interesting if Seela was one of the ones that was part of this new coup, and she's the one that called Picard to the rescue mission of her separatists on her part of Romulus, and then she betrayed him and destroyed his ship and killed his son, whatever. So now he's got a personal stake against Romulans as well. I mean, I refer back to Logan. He's super proud of Logan, of how he was in that film and how that character ended. But as a fan of X-Men, I hated seeing Professor X and Logan like that. Hated it. And as their last appearance, it's like, I would never have chosen that a million years. It's an amazing film, but to see Professor X be that and portrayed that way, except a few scenes, it's like, that's disappointing beyond belief. That's his end, being stabbed in a bed to death. It's like, oh, what an awful way to go, that is bad for a character. But also it's an amazing, like, it works in this story, but also he's not as iconic as Picard. So you imagine if he was, is A-okay with that, maybe he's A-okay with making Picard, if you give him backstory, to be a grumpy old man that's now, hating Starfleet and really dark, and it's like, it's interesting to play, but is that would we ever have chosen Picard for that? It's like the new Star Wars trilogy. There was always amazing books where Han, Luke, and Leia were these heroes of the rebellion and the Republic, and Leia was the head of the new Republic, and Luke was doing his Jedi, and Han was dealing with smugglers and whatever. And what do you get? You get coward Luke that ran away, Leia that's in create a new Republic, new rebellion that doesn't do anything, and Han that dies after being a bad father and leaving his children. So god awful, nothing that we would ever have done, but someone thought it was a good idea. So this is why,
and that's to shake things up, and that's what worries me. Really kind of sucks, and the fact that he's said, literally that it's going to be a different Picard than what you're used to, scares the crap out of me. Like, you can do that well, you can do that properly, but you can also totally go off the rails with it and just mess up the character, And I think if they do that, because this is like the last. Help me, Picard. Help me, Jean-Luc Picard. You're my only hope. To bring back the old fans that really are disappointed with Discovery.
Well, that made the franchise what it is.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. TNG really did very well for Star Trek.
It's one of those things where changing course. Discovery Season 1 is very different to Season 2. So they've hopefully learned lessons from Season 2 as well. And then they can make Picard with those lessons learned. Often, we do say TNG Season 1, but it's not great, but it's not bad. But they learned a lot of lessons and made it better. A lot of things have to go through worse iterations. Again, look at Star Trek Enterprise. I don't like Season 1 very much, but it got better. And you talk characters for a second, back to that. Patrick says he's not the same Picard. Well, when Scott Bakula read the Season 3 arc for Archer, if he got the entire season in advance, look at how dark that character goes, to the point of actively breaking his own rules and trying to kill, really dark. That is, if it's in that vein, but he still had who he was. He just went to a really dark place for a really distinct reason, with a severe explanation, and then obviously Season 4, he's changed because of that, but he still is who he is at core and can bounce back. So if it's that sort of, he's changed from his instance. It's like, Archer got dark as shit, but it was really compelling and it was really well done. That's good. But if you get like Luke in Last Jedi, it's like, nope, that's just...
Well, yeah, I'm wondering if there's going to be like a revenge element to this, like Picard, whoever, maybe somebody died close to him, as we've said, and he thinks that the person responsible has been dead for these 15 years. All of a sudden they're back, and now it's like a vendetta to, I don't know if seek out revenge would be something that Picard would do. Depends how justice is a perfect word. Batman, justice. Yeah, if something like that were to come up, I'd kind of be on board with it. And then, last minute, him kind of decide, this isn't the way this just should be or whatever. Kind of turn the character a little dark at the beginning and then, bring it back around at the end of the show. If it's done properly and done well, it would definitely enhance the character and add a lot to the lore. And if it's done wrongly, it's just going to be, we're just not going to be happy. So
it's likely it'll be a 1 minute 30, 2 minute trailer where we're going to see Picard. I would love to see, and I think this is the most expensive show ever for them, but I think it'd be really important to see de-aged Patrick Stewart in flashbacks. I think that would be so essential if I was them writing it. Patrick's having nightmares, or Picard having nightmares, and you see Picard from Nemesis era in that uniform again, which would look very be appeasing to the fans, and then we see bad things. It'd be fun to have you don't like flashbacks like Arrow, but you almost have he's repressed the memories of this thing, and he's seeing them again in his dreams or whatever, and there's some actual special tie into that or whatever. But I think we're going to see the vineyard. I think we're going to see some space shots. I think we're going to probably be introduced to the new ship. I think that's a safe bet. See the style. I think it'll be an explorative with the we're exploring the look of the show, we're exploring the new characters, we're exploring the new space. Don't think there'll be any conflict. I think there'll be an inference to the grander story, and or flashbacky moments to a battle, to the rescue, where that'll be the battle of the trailer. 15 years ago, and he's standing in the museum and he's watching these events on a screen, and for some reason they're really well shot and stuff. But
well, I'd like the trailer or the teaser to kind of end with a hook, something that really gets us jazzed, like just hearing somebody's voice that we recognize saying,
Well,
I never thought I never thought I'd see you again, Jean-Luc.
Well, I was going to say, I think you got a 50-50 chance of Frakes being in it as Riker, because he was directing it, and I feel like if they like that would be if you want each trailer teaser to have a big moment of surprise, have the Titan with Riker, even if it's a side thing, or like, you know, he picks up Picard, he takes him somewhere else, and you get to see these two friends. Because I mean, in the long, well, not that I guess Discovery did it, but in the grand tradition of Star Trek, one of the last actors hands it off. It'd be kind of nice to have, you know, one of the old TNG, or you know, as you said, Admiral Janeway would be even better. Admiral Janeway, you know, that would be the most logical to hand it off. I think we're going to see one other old cast that, you know, someone's been lying for the last year, who's saying, oh, I wish I was in it. Oh, I haven't heard anything. One's lied, and one is going to be in it in the trailer, and that'll be the hook to show that, yes, we actually care. Here is the grander universe. I think we have one.
Yeah, I would be totally on board for that. And there's a few different choices for that, obviously. Data, Riker. LeVar Burton said he's likely going to be in the show at some point.
But he wants to be. Yeah.
Wants to be, yes. But as you say, they lie in these press conferences leading up to things. And I think
if you didn't, you just give it away. What's the point of that? So
Yeah.
what is the story of the season? Whoa, here's how it ends. So you got to lie, you know.
And I think Denise Crosby would be the perfect choice for that as Sela. I think if it ties in with the Hobus incident and the Romulans, perfect way to bridge that gap. At least to start with, and later on you introduce a few more characters perhaps, but who knows? I mean, I'm hoping for something good.
I mean, they all have high paychecks. You bring in an unknown, you bring in a small regular, whatever, but you bring in a TNG cast member, you can't offer them anything less than a good deal, because, you know, you get any of them in, you're going to sell new action figures, you're going to, you know, they can be in Star Trek Online, this new thing. You're printing money if you bring them in cleverly. That's why I think we're going to see a ship, we're going to see the uniform, we're going to see elements, because each one is a point for this thing to succeed. Even if the story's bad, even whatever, they want to go as many points as possible, as many things we're excited about for us to talk about for next, well, I guess 4 months, 5 months, not that long till it's meant to come out. It won't, but
or we get introduced to one of the new characters and get revealed a last name that's very familiar, and we're like, ooh, that's a little tie in there. Something like that, I think, would be also something that I think they would likely do.
If they go dark, I mean, look at season 1 trailer. Honestly, I can't remember that much, but I think it was pretty dark. Season 2 for Discovery was very bouncy. We loved it. It was full of energy, full of exploration, full of imagery. The ships looked nice. I don't think this can be that bouncy, but people, you know, even if a dark show, contain it in a positive message. Don't make that season 1 Discovery mistake again. If you can get fans thinking, okay, good positive message, bright, but with a dark story, with a good Picard, with a good art design, good CGI, that's how you get people with one guest. And if you have one guest star who's an existing actor from any of the 5 other shows, I think those points would get them so many bits of cred. And then when you get to Vegas, obviously their promotional campaign at Vegas is based on the San Diego one, in the sense what's released here, because they can then announce the new toy line for Picard, and we've shown Riker, we've shown the ship, and now here's Eaglemoss render. Look, you can buy this, and you know, you can get stuff being pre-ordered at Vegas, which obviously the Trek fans are going to want. So I think show as many visual cues as possible. And if they were smart, although they did that last year with Discovery, with the phase which never came out, and all these things didn't happen. But, you know, we're making Anovos already has the uniforms, pre-order them. The new Picard uniform, you know, you can if they synergized this thing, Vegas could be the place that they could Trekkies could just burn money at. If this trailer's big and it shows enough cool stuff, and the ship is not bad, it fits into canon, it's not using any Discovery aesthetic of any kind, that's key, absolutely key. Again, this show is an easy win if they do it right. And if we're seeing it this soon, then these are our predictions, our thoughts, our words of warning, and our hope. And yeah, any closing thoughts, Stuart?
No, like I said, cautiously optimistic. Excited. I'll be doing a first reaction video on Saturday after I see it. Samuel won't be available, unfortunately, but we will follow up with one with both of us after that.
With a scene-by-scene, frame-by-frame, digitally enhanced breakdown. It's going to happen. It's going to be amazing.
So stay tuned for those guys.
And we are going to do small edited videos as well, not just lives. Lives are great for the channel, but the small videos are really great for, fans and views and such. So don't worry, we'll have both formats like we did last year as well. Okay, Stuart, we're going to see Picard in a Starfleet uniform, yes or no?
No.
I think we might, but probably no. Going to see another cast member of any kind, as in
Yes.
from an essential show, yeah? Are we going to see a descendant of a cast member?
Possibly.
That's one or the other, really, isn't it? Do we see an old one, we see a descendant? Like Morale, Paris would be great. Are we going to see the new ship? The new ship? The new Picard hero ship?
I think we'll probably see a Galaxy class for some reason.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? Just a trashed Galaxy class and have to go to it, and that'd be fun. Are we going to see a new villain, or are we going to leave out an antagonist? For this first teaser trailer.
I don't think we're going to see a new villain, but we're going to get either a name or some kind of voiceover from a villain.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say no villain, but yes, explain the situation. At least that much. But there's probably some underhanded villain. And is the rescue event Hobus or not? Did they mess up the timeline in the press releases, or is it different?
Probably, but I hope not. I'm thinking no. I think it's a result of Hobus, but like a delayed action for whatever reason. But yes, Hobus is the impetus for that. So yes.
Okay.
Based on what we said, or just something that you've been thinking about, put your comments down below. Create a great conversation down there. Like I said, we're going to be covering this in short videos as well as lives as well. We're going to be pretty busy for the next little while. And with the new series coming out, we're super excited. Lots to do.
We're flying to Vegas.
Yes, we
So
are.
we'll see you there.
We're going to be at Vegas. So if you're going to be there, say hi.
Slightly busy 2 weeks.
That's right. So those are our predictions and our hopes and our prayers. And exactly, yeah. So I guess that's it for this video, guys. Like I said, please put your comments down below. Don't forget to hit like and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. It's always important. And we love talking to you guys, love hanging out with you, and we're going to be doing so much of that, Samuel. So much. But anyway, until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Connor Coggins. See you on the other side.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.